Welcome back to another episode. Today is pretty exciting for me. I've got a water block. I put out a YouTube short showing what came up in the middle of my GPU testing. So I've completed the testing that I want to run with this MSI 5070 Ti. This is a Shadow 3X. I was able to grab this. I guess the price wasn't horribly. This is the market we're in. Wasn't that much over MSRP, as if these are real numbers anyway, right? Anyway, if you've been following along on my channel, I've done a lot with checking out water blocks, CPU testing, which coolers are the best, which setup would make you run the most stable and the coolest for an Intel 14th gen CPU. I've always wanted to water cool my systems. It's just what I do. So when I was looking for 50 series cards, one of the things that I was kind of surprised with is the lack of immediate support for water blocks. And maybe this is just how the launches go these days. So when I was looking for a 50 series card, I wasn't looking for a 5070 Ti. It was a 5080 or a 5090. I really didn't have any interest in the 5070 Ti. I thought it was just crumpled down beyond, because 5090 performance, cut that in half, and you get a 5080. It's probably where the 5080 Super is poised to jump right in the middle. We'll see, what they end up releasing and how much that's going to cost. But the 5070 Ti, as you start to learn and love it, it is the same die as the 5080. And I'll put some specs up here, and I've got a lot of data coming out. But I guess it's safe to say that it may not be the most aggressively performing block, because if we can all afford 5090s and get our hands on them, then what's the point of these videos I'm making? Just everyone buy a 5090 and enjoy the horsepower that comes with it. But what's your best bang for your buck? What are you doing with the card? Are you productivity? Are you gaming? What do you need it for? Basically, is what you're trying to ask yourself, and customize your build and to your specs to your needs. And what I've found is that for the price to performance, Cliff Note version, I like the 5070 Ti. But I'm really interested in getting this Alphacool core block installed. And I like Alphacool products. If you've seen my systems, there's a lot of Alphacool radiators and pumps and blocks already. They make a great product. I am really interested in seeing how well this performs. This is the Alphacool 10248. And this fits the reference block, and MSI is one of these companies that is conforming to the reference of the 5080 and 5070 Ti actually are using the same cooler. So if and when I luck into a 5080 that's reasonable, I can switch the cooler over. But that's not likely going to happen. I'm going to pair this and rerun all of my testing that I put this card through, and see if it allows it a little bit more headroom to run a little cooler, a little faster, or is it just merely keeping it cool for longevity purposes, which might be true. These coolers really do a pretty good job, but I did notice that the memory and just for the smaller size of cooler didn't do as well as the gigabyte coolers. But those coolers, those air coolers, are very big. Mammoth cards. And the way I have my system set up, I've got 2 reservoirs, twin pumps, redundancy, to pump a lot of coolant around. It's like 3 liters of coolant. It's a seriously overkill build, but the way I've set it up, I didn't realize I was sort of proverbially shooting myself in the foot and not being able to put my GPU in without a water block on it. So the water block is going to be considerably smaller, and it's going to give me the room I need to tuck it back into my system and put the door on and tidy it up. What I've been doing is I took a very cheap motherboard tray It was like $35 off eBay or Amazon or something. And did a little arts and crafts time. Got the plasma cutter out, zipped a straight line, and just took the section that holds the GPU, put some risers, got another cable, set it beside the PC so it would be sturdy and safe to be external from the system, and plugged in all the components I needed to plug into that was sitting right there beside it, and it would run just fine. And that works, but that's not how I want to run my system, right? I try to get a little creative, but it works. I didn't mind it, but let's get the block back on this thing and tucked back into place. You can see it's going to be much, much smaller, and really looking forward to getting this on here. Go with me here. I'll try to record the process and see how well we do. So I'll attempt to record this step by step so you can at least see. There is one other video that I have on my channel that I put the water block with the active backplate for my RTX 3090, and that card is still running well. And I'll tell you, if they had active backplates for cards, I would get them hands down. My opinion, you got water cooled on both sides of the card. Great heat dissipation that way. The 3090 is ideal for that because it has memory modules on both sides. So if you don't have memory modules on both sides, they only really give you an active plate with the passive cooling backplate, which is fine, but you can still get some better heat extraction if you had the active cooling. But it's like buying two blocks. It's very expensive. But that being said, if you're in it for longevity or you just like the cool factor, pun intended, you get an active backplate. But it wasn't available. I'm just feeling really lucky I got my hands on this. I didn't jump line. I know that there's a lot of people out there frustrated with Alphacool because the demand was so high that they are having a hard time keeping up with that. And I literally just got lucky. There was a gentleman, random search on eBay, honestly, a gentleman on eBay that posted this block and said, I bought the wrong one. So I ordered the correct one, and now I don't need this one. He worked it out with me. We came to an agreement. I couldn't be happier. I appreciate his help, but now I've got a block. I don't have to wait on it. So with that, let's delve in and take a peek and see how well this performs. Stick with me here. What an interesting cooler design. You got a plastic backplate, so this doesn't do much. Unfortunately, I would like to have seen a metal backplate. I think you're going to add some cooling just by having the metal backplate. And then, yeah, so it sandwiches the two plastic pieces with the fan sandwiches together. Then you're left with the fin design and the board. So we need to take screws out of the front. I like that they give you a replacement iota panel. That's very thoughtful. Plus, it's a nice matte black finish. That's nice, actually. I just want to make sure I can separate the PCB from the cooler. Okay, now we're left with this. We're getting there. What looks to be the 4 main screws that hold the die against the cooler. Hopefully we can get it to separate without any drama. Let's give it a shot here. And yes, I'm sorry I'm pulling the sticker off. Very easy to come off of there. Doing it little by little. It's one of those tension design setups. Easy does it there. No flinging screws across the room. Okay. The moment of truth. Okay. Looks like it was coated very well. It had good squish out. It was even around all sides. This was well pasted. Looks like there was one pad that came off the memory module over here. What I'm going to do, and they ended up doing them individually, which I like this, that you actually would do that individually. And you can even see, put them back here along the center. Okay. Last thing I want to do is cause any problems. But I would like to try to just transport these back. Because I'm going to keep the cooler. I'm going to sort of put it back together again without the PCB. That lets me know where things go. It seems like it's still new enough that it's still holding their shape and form. They haven't got all dried up and disintegrated. When you repad and paste a GPU, normally look a lot worse than this. The pads aren't this malleable and they're just brittle and you're just scraping them off and trying not to break anything. And I have to say, this is a very refreshing experience. But you're taking apart something new, right? Something brand new. Now I just need to wipe this up I'm going to use some isopropyl alcohol, maybe a Q-tip or something to get in there and sort of break it up. And I will be back with you. Well, how nice was that? You know, just set it in there the right way, everything just falls into place. Okay, so this is nice actually. The kit comes with pre-cut pads, and that's a step in the right direction. You know, EK doesn't do that. Bixkey that I have for my 3090, they didn't do that. This is nice. So this is for the back plate, and this is for the cooler. 1 millimeter for the cooler, 3 millimeter for the back plate, in case you need to remember the next time you pad something. Now, just because it says 1 millimeter for this cooler doesn't mean that that's what you use for whatever cooler you're using. So, okay. So there are 6 of them. Place the pads onto the block. To wipe down with alcohol here ever so briefly. Remember, there is plastic on both sides. You got to take the plastic off. One side is usually thicker than the other. So that covers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. Thermal pads on the cooling block, complete. I do like this applicator. That's a little messier than I was anticipating, but smooth it out with a thin coat. A little wiggle and a squishy squish. Those are technical terms, by the way. Wiggle and a squishy squish. All right, looks like holes are lining up. Okay. Okay, place the thermal pads on the PCB. This is for the back plate. If you notice though, they want something on the 12 volt high power connector. They realize that sucker gets hot. Boy. I'm interested to see how that works. You know, we also lost our memory hotspot sensor on the 50 series, so Actually, Alphacool's done some testing here. Hang it off the back of something here, and we can tuck it rather easily. Now I think I've got them on the run here. And I'm just getting them all started. I use over torque fasteners, which is, I mean, I've snapped them off. And this is working on automotive equipment, you know, cam towers and water pump bolts, and you know, you just cinch them down. Well, I cinch them down. That's why I buy the manuals and look for torque sets, torque specs, and I try my best to not get too aggressive here. You know, these are small threads. Notice I'm just one hand, but I realize I could still put a lot of torque on this. I'm trying to not. We have squish. I think we've got squish. Okay. First look. Boy, doesn't that look nice. Boy, I hope she runs good too. We are about to find out. Now, in my opinion, I would like to plug the outsides and run my tubes from the back and my vertical mount. That would be the cleanest look for me, and I'm hopeful that that's possible, so I'm going to go ahead and lightly cinch it down and plan for that to be the case. And if not, okay, that's fine. We'll deal with that. Okay, and it comes with the 5-volt header, which we will definitely make use of. And we'll see if we can get this to fire up. Now, I'm using my riser cable. The other one that I was going to use, I ordered another one, a shorter one, for this particular, you know, project. And I'm still testing and running some other stuff with the other one. So I'd like to test this right away, but we'll see. Didn't use the Alphacool paste that came with it. I think we're doing ourselves a favor by using the Thermal Grizzly product. That's my opinion. Use the product you enjoy using. Okay. I'd like to see something here, but this should not be torsion this direction. It's just supposed to hang, which that's fine. Very, very nice. Well, let's get this fired up. Well, this definitely has the look that I was going after, but given the time of this video, I hope you guys have stuck with me and learned how to install this water block. Really good design on this card. I've really enjoyed being able to put this together, and it does run great. I will share the benchmark and the performance and the cooling effectiveness in an upcoming video. You'll be pleased with it. I would not hesitate to use this Alphacool product. Thanks for sticking with me. Looking forward to these upcoming videos. Stay safe. God bless.